they signed wide receiver Isaiah Williams from Illinois. And you look at what he did at Illinois, and again, pretty productive football player. I mean, he's at least when you look at what he did in college, caught a lot of footballs. And I think that was it was intriguing. I mean, he was undrafted, and they find a guy that, again, he can come in training camp, battle for a spot, and if he shows out, man, you might have just got an undrafted free agent stud. Because you got to think, too, a little fun fact here. A lot of the NFL, there's a good portion of the NFL that's undrafted free agents, by the way, in case you didn't know. Well, Booner, what'd you think of it? Isaiah Williams out of Illinois.
I thought it was great. I saw something too that was like over 70% of his yards are yards after catch. So like it feels like he's a playmaker. Yeah. So he short routes, make a play, and he'll go. So I love it. I think it's just giving other guys. And I saw someone put in there Isaiah Williams, wide receiver number 6. I think there's an opportunity for some of these free agents, these undrafted free agents. Maybe not year one, you're going to see some of them sit here and blossom, but there might be one or two that show out and show up. And especially like a guy like Isaiah Williams. I talk about it all the time, Jeff, is when you come into an offense that's already established in the top 5 the last 3 seasons with Ben Johnson, if you're good, it's like Amon-Ra St. Brown his rookie year. Obviously, they weren't great then, but at some point, if you're just that good and you know you're a playmaker, they're going to find a way to fit you in and make plays. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown, you saw that the second half of his rookie year. He's just a dog and he just wants to play football. And they started finding a way to get him the ball and he started making plays. So I don't think Isaiah Williams is going to be like that, but these are just more so just for all of the undrafted free agents. Like there's going to be maybe a couple that, are going to kind of surprise you, and hopefully one or two of them hit, so you have some more, more pieces that you have here. I like Isaiah Williams though. I watched some of his film today or last night, and he's a dog. He's a yak. He's a yak guy, and that's what it feels like in Ben Johnson offense. He's gonna find a way to get you open. Can you make plays out of it? That's a guy that he showed at Illinois that he can make plays out of that. So I'm a fan of him. I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at, too, the 4.6 340 he ran at the combine. He plays much faster than he ran, much faster. Mm-hmm. The way they used him, too, in the run game and the pass game, I like this. As a UDFA, like kind of a flyer, if he has anything great, I'm on board with Isaiah Williams. I think that's a great signing by the Lions.
Klotzy, Isaiah Williams, brother.
I like him. He's twitchy. Like you guys said, didn't run the fastest 40 time, but a lot of times that's the case with those guys. And you look at like the Julian Edelmans, Golden Tates of the world, they're not blazing in the 40-yard dash, but they know how to be quick in space, and that's how they beat those potential tacklers. So I like it. Probably like a Dylan Drummond situation where you're going to be watching him all up until camp, and he could make it. I think it's a better case for him to make it this year because there's not an opposing guy like they brought in Chase Cota, I know, along with Dylan Drummond. They still potentially could. But I still think there's a more clear path for him to make this team, given his skill set, too. I know Kirby played with him in college. I know he was happy to see him brought on. So it'll be interesting. I don't think this is anything earth-shaking, though, as far as the wide receiver position.
I think he was a teammate of Jameson Williams at some point of his career, maybe high school.
Maybe. I'd have to see where he's from.
I saw something like that. I saw something.
If he's out of St. Louis.
They did sign a good bit here of UDFAs. I mean, they got...
Yeah, I have a whole list over here.
You want to go through them, Boone?
Yeah, I can go through a bunch of them. The one that I think is interesting, I know a lot of people wanted a DN, but Isaac Ukwu out of Ole Miss. It's an interest. He had 3.5 sacks last year at Ole Miss, but the year before I had 7.5 at JMU. That's an interesting one here because I know a lot of people wanted an edge, and that's the edge. It looked like they went with Klotzy. They did sign Steel Chambers, linebacker out of Ohio State. He led Ohio State in tackles. Yeah, 83 tackles last season. Led the team.
And he's athletic. He can do in coverage. He's not like Tommy Eichenberg. I think he went to the Raiders. Tommy Eichenberg's much more of a off-ball linebacker, but still, you can move around. I like him.
Yeah,
good depth piece. Maybe like an Anthony Pittman replacement.
Don't hate it.
Real quick on the Isaac Ukwu, I think I think that's a sleeper signing. I do. I mean, you look at his production at before he transferred to Ole Miss, 7.5 sacks, gets to Ole Miss, a couple sacks last year. And it's someone that, again, another body you could bring in, compete in training camp. So I think that if we're talking about ones that stuck out to me, and we'll get to it once you go through another one, there's one more that stuck out to me that I like. But Isaac, I think that's another one that I'm on board with.
Here I'm just gonna read the list here, and then if there's a name, we'll go back to it. Hogan Hayton, long snapper out of Idaho, took my job there as a long
Out
snapper.
of Booner, you
Tough, man.
Booner, that's got to be a interview you get down then.
Yeah,
He put you out of a job, bro.
I'll reach out to Hogan. It says he's going to compete with Scott Daly. Isaac Rex, tight end out of BYU, had 400 yards, 12 touchdowns in 2020. Duke Clemens, out of UCLA, a center. There's a center, boys. Jalen Calhoun, wide receiver out of Duke. 3 straight seasons here. And this is all, I'm reading this off the Detroit Free Press. So I want to give him credit off this. 3 straight seasons, 700 plus receiving yards. Jalen Garnes, safety out of Wake Forest. Darren Gilbert, safety / linebacker out of Northern Illinois. Brian Hudson, another center out of Louisville. Nate Lynn, Jeff, we talked about him yesterday.
Yes.
Be one of those later picks because he did come on a visit. Nate Lynn, defensive lineman, I think an interior out of William and Mary. They visited with him a couple of times. He had
another man from the tribe.
Yeah, 28 career sacks at William and Mary.
The tribe.
In the inside there. This is an interesting name. Wow. Morris Norris Jr. Wow. Safety out of Fresno State. What a name. And then Loren Strickland, DB out of Ball State. So, and then obviously, I think today, and I did tweet it out.
Kicker out of Michigan.
Yes, baby. I'm interested. Though, not Jake Bates. Nothing on Jake Bates yet, which I'm interested. I think what's going to happen is Jake Bates is going to come in, and those 3 guys are going to compete for the spot. I think that's what's going to end up happening. I can almost.
There's going to be some other teams that are also interested in Jake Bates, though, too. That's just you look at what
I don't know if I've been pranked about this Norris Morris Jr. guy. That's what a name that is.
That's a wild name to give a child.
That's crazy.
Is it Maurice Norris or Morris Norris?
Dude,
spell it.
Let me go back and pull it
up. If it's actually Morris Norris, I just sign him to the active roster. I mean, I just want this dude on the field. I don't give a shit if he's good or not.
If it's Maurice.
Morris Norris.
Dude, maybe it's Maurice. Maybe it's Maurice, and I just
no way.
It's spelled
it is,
already it's spelled Morice.
Yeah, it's definitely Maurice.
Maurice. My bad, Maurice.
Hey,
that's so bad, Booner.
I would
feel like I'm getting pranked.
Oh, Boone, I love that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's great though. I mean, I'm gonna start calling him Morris. I hope we get to meet him, dude.
Imagine Brad is going through all the undrafted guys.
Oh,
he's
man.
like, is this guy fucking real? Like he's looking around. Morris Norris? Are you kidding?
What a name, dude.
Just sign him, man. At this point,
we gotta get him. We gotta get him on the show at this point. We have to get him on the show now.
100%.
I'm not great at spellings too. Yeah, I'm not great at reading.
It's okay. It's all good. You know what? A player that they did sign, undrafted free agent that I do really like, Duke Clemens, the center out of UCLA. I like that pick.
Yeah.
That there's some depth there at center, and I think he could very easily compete and be depth there at center because they don't really have anybody to back up Frank. They have players that can play center, but they don't have a true center. And I think Duke Clemens, in terms of undrafted free agent, if you watch UCLA, he's a pretty good player. He's experienced, and he got the second most guaranteed money besides Isaiah Williams. So it tells you kind of you look at that guaranteed money. I mean, Isaiah Williams got $240,000 guaranteed. That tells you that there are other teams looking at Isaiah Williams, and I think Duke got $60,000 guaranteed. The next was Isaac Ukwu. So Duke, I think, had a market, and he chose the Lions. So I like that signing a lot too.
That is crazy. They threw 250 at Isaiah.
Yeah, he definitely had a market. There's definitely other teams calling him. So you got to up that guarantee.
That's good though. That's good that you got him because after that, then.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh yeah.